Hey, what's going on? It's Josh. I'm the founder and master electrician here at Empowered Electric, and welcome to Empower ED, where we try to take a closer look at all things electrical trade related to give you DIYers and apprentices and electricians a little tips of the tricks of the trade that we've developed. But no, guys, I remember early on in my electrical experience, I worked in the prefab department. I worked for a company that before you got sent to a job site to make sure that you were gonna be job site approved, you would build a lot of things, boxes, offsets, freaking taping up boxes, also wiring up devices and things, prefabbing a lot of stuff, and we use these things called Wagos. Now, we did an episode on box makeup, okay? You should check out the link and go look at box makeup. We've got that awesome video about how to make up wires with wire nuts, which I prefer, which I think every modern craftsman, awesome journeyman electrician will do, is use wire nuts. But there are some instances in which Wagos are good. I kind of wanted to just describe them and tell you some do's and do nots for them. So Wagos are a type of wire connector that can splice two or more wires together, leaving future connections that are very easy and accessible. Wagos vary in size and capacity, so be sure you're using the right size for the right conductor. So guys, this is the Wago. You can tell that you just strip the wire and slide it into one of the 4 slots here. It just has a little piece of metal that holds it in place. If you want to remove the Wago, you just have to twist it back and forth and you'll see it slides out. So the wires just slide in. You want to make sure that they go all the way to the end of that plastic, like that. And if you got to remove them, you just do that. You don't want to do that over and over again. It weakens the connection point, but that's how it works right there. So the question is, when would you use a Wago? Some of the things, so one thing that's kind of obvious in the construction industry is like when things fall behind, okay? When the job is in a rush at the end, when you fall behind and you fall behind because of loose ends. What's a loose end? Loose ends sink ships. It's a common phrase in construction. Loose ends are whenever you start a job and you don't take it to the furthest point of completion before pulling off. So in the instance of a Wago, it would be like pulling wire from box to box. And when you pulled wire from box to box, if you didn't make up each box with the wire nuts or with a Wago, and you waited until drywall was up and walls were getting painted, and then you had to get into that box and make it up, your device per hour would take a lot longer than if you did box makeup now. Once again, we have a box makeup video, check that out. But in this instance for Wagos, it's your ability to make up the wires and be ready for a device that can go in very quickly and effectively. Now, of course, whenever I say all this, it sounds like, wow, why wouldn't I use a Wago all the time? Let me show you a couple reasons why Wagos are not my favorite and some of the bad things that can happen if you're not careful and inexperienced. So coming to this first box, of course the Wagos are made up, the Wagos and the wire have been pulled, we're ready to put a device in. But what's one of the problems here? Wire showing, right? Oftentimes, people will strip wire like they would to make up a wire nut, and when you strip a lot of wire to make up a wire nut, it's good because you can get a good solid twist and cut. But if you strip it too far and you push it all the way into the Wago, it leaves this copper conductor exposed. Now that can short against the box, that can blow up the device, or if someone grabbed this, what would happen? Shock the piss out of them. Sorry, kids, this is not for children. It would shock the piss out of you. It would not feel good. So this is a bad connection. Can you zoom in and see what the other problem is? Look at the other wire. See how the other wire, the copper doesn't come to the end? It's barely in there. And over time, if I put a device in, look at that, it just slid right out because the wire is cut too short. So Wagos are very temperamental with it, how far the wire needs to be stripped for it to make a good, proper connection. I like wire nuts because it's kind of, you can strip it long, cut it to length, and make it fit in. So Wagos are very temperamental. It can easily be too long and too short. Wire nuts are like Goldilocks. They always fit right in the middle. So that's one problem. Let me show you another problem that I see with Wagos. Now, while this might not be the most common issue like long or short wires in Wagos, I've seen this happen more often than not. People will come to a box and there will be too many wires for the Wagos they have. So this particular Wago is suitable for 4 wires, but they'll have, it appears, if you see here, they have 4, 5, 6 wires. So instead of getting a Wago that has 6 ports or using a wire nut, because a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe you can put 5 number 12s in a red wire nut. I believe that's the capacity. So you could use a red wire nut on this, but instead they use 2 Wagos and then they put a jumper in between. You could see it on all of these. This, like I said, is not the most common thing, but I see this, and this might be code compliant, but this is hacky as all get. This is definitely gonna violate box fill to try to get a device in here now by putting another wire and cramming it all in there in a plug. It's nonsense. It would be so much better to just use a red wire nut in this instance. So whether the wire's too long or too short, or there's just too many wires, Wagos are not extremely versatile. Before you think that I completely hate Wagos, Wagos will massively increase your time in putting in devices if installed correctly. If the person that pulled the wire stripped all the wires long enough, none of them are too short, and they use the appropriate Wago that gives you other ports so that there's not all those jumpers, it does make it extremely easy to install a device that has already been pigtailed. So if this was a finished location and I came in and I had devices that were already pigtailed, and if you don't know what pigtails are, it is actually our most popular video. So click on that video button and go check it out. It's got like freaking 12,000 views. But if you were able to come with your device already pigtailed, you would just snap your wires in. Do I put the white with the black? Depends on what kind of party you want. See how those just slid in? Extremely easy. And then I would just pull them like this, and I would fold them back, accordion them in. This is, like I said, in prefab situations, you would be able to put that device in pretty quickly, okay? So that's where Wagos are beneficial. So guys, there you have it. There is a place that if using Wagos effectively, you can speed up your devices. They also are used a lot of times in light. So there is a time and a place for Wagos. There is a crowd forming. Nathaniel, how do you feel about Wagos?
I do not like them.
You do not?
I hate them so much.
You're a wire nut guy.
I'm a wire nut guy, yeah. I think it makes a much better connection. You also, when you twist your wires, then it also makes a better connection. And you don't have a chance of those vibrating and causing heat or any sort of problem.
Gotcha. Wade, I know you do a lot of work in old houses. Do you use Wagos? Why don't you come over here? Wade's our service director here at Empowered Electric. He is the freaking man. Look at him, handsome son of a gun. Do you use Wagos ever?
Yeah, I use Wagos.
What are some of the reasons you use Wagos?
Particularly in old houses, what they'll do is, remember the boxes are so small because that's why they pull all the wire up to the light fixture. Mm-hmm. And then they leave just enough to be able to make it right on the receptacle. This receptacle burns off later on, and the box is only this long and the wire is only that long. And I go, oh, look, I pulled it out. It's all the further it'll go. Well, in this particular case, I can put a pigtail on a Wago and I can snap it in there and it will still hold where I can't get a wire nut inside there because I physically can't get my fingers inside the box.
That's really good. That's
when I have Wago.
Yeah, so see guys, we're not anti-Wago. Thank you so much. Wade, for all your service needs, hit us up, Empowered Electric. You can call 816-500-9452. I'll put you in touch with the man, the myth, the legend, Wade. He'll take care of all your residential service needs. If you can't get a plug out of that wall, we got you covered. So guys and gals, Wagos are an electrical device. They're UL listed and approved. You can use them, like I said, a lot of prefab, a lot of light fixtures. There's some real bad ways that they can be used. Remember, jumpers, too long, too short. But if you really want to speed up your device installation, they do have an application. As always, guys, thanks a ton for tuning in this week. We hope this was a little clarifying for you with Wagos. Be sure to hit that like, subscribe, all those things, share it, and comment below. Let us know if you're a fan of Wagos. Listen, I got all day. We can fight, baby. Let's go. Have a great week. Bye-bye.